Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey, everybody, how we feeling today? Hopefully we feeling pretty good. I had to speak on the debate between Anton Daniels and Yada Awakening. I was there present as it was going on live. But there was a particular part that I wanted to kind of comment on. And it was the part about dating a single mother. And both the men made good points. They both made good points. I'm not going to say they didn't. I agreed with some of what Yada had to say. I agree with some of what Anton had to say. But I got a fundamental issue with Yada's stance. Because, see, the issue is that Yada is not completely wrong. It's not wrong, it's imbalanced. Yada's stance overall, I don't think, and this is just from what I've heard from the debate, I don't typically watch any of Yada's. I'm more familiar with Anton's content than I am Yada Awakening's content. And so, just from what I gathered, listening to Yada and listening to his takes and listening to his stances, he's not wrong. He's just not right. And that's interesting. That's an interesting place to be. Now, I'm not going to go to the part, because they started out with going through the scriptures because of something that Yada said. And then they started going through Genesis, talking about, because they were trying to talk about the story of Hawa, alayhi salam, and her being deceived by Shaitan. And I don't really like to broach that subject too many times, because my belief about that is fundamentally different than Christians, Hebrew Israelites, and everybody else. The Muslims have a different understanding of that. So I have, when I speak about it, I don't speak about that from the standpoint of Eve was evil and everything is women's fault. Women are evil. Eve was evil. And because women are evil, that's just full stop. Women are evil because of that situation. The Muslims don't have that understanding of that. So I'm in fundamental disagreement with it anyway. So I'm not going to speak on that part of the debate. I wanted to talk about the single mother portion. I know the Bible don't say it, but that's not my assertion. My assertion is not that the Bible says it. It's my assertion that Christians purport it. Some, not every Christian. Some Christians have the correct understanding of that. Many say something different. So what I'm going to do, and shout out to Hardly Initiated, shout out to those brothers. They usually have really good debates that they host. I think they do a pretty good job of trying to moderate debates, especially when they have people who have opposing viewpoints. I think that they try to do a good job of allowing each person to speak their piece at in full, to complete their full thought. And so I think that they do a pretty good job. And so hats off to Hardly Initiated. I hope that they don't mind me using clips of their show in order to comment. So because it's a long clip, so now I started it here. They've already started the conversation about whether or not to date single mothers. That first initial minute or so of the conversation is not quite where I was going from. So we're just going to pick up here. If you want to see the whole thing, go to Hardly Initiated's page, watch the whole thing, give them a like, give them a thumbs up. We're kind of starting mid conversation. So here we go.
Nothing to do with
I appreciate that, brother.
Right. So I have the utmost respect for him and his family.
Thank you.
So I'm just speaking in general. All right. So I want to make sure that I preface that because I don't want there to be any attacks. Right.
Understood.
But my point is that we need to get back to the core and the root, because if you removed the safety net, people would be more accountable for the things that they did and who they opened up their legs to. Right now, more than ever, there's a pandemic, an epidemic of women celebrating women having children out of wedlock. And we know that statistically speaking, that is a bad situation. You are more likely to end up in jail. You're more likely to join a gang. You're more likely to need therapy. You're less likely to be successful when it comes to future relationships. You're less likely to become a millionaire and earn as much. You're more likely to have debt as a result of student loan debt and things and so on and so forth. And so if we gonna solve for this problem as a culture, we have to remove the incentives for people to think that it's okay to have families outside of the covenant that God has ordained for us to have. Now, do circumstances happen? Absolutely. But it absolutely does not. That is not the majority. Most people are intentional. And let me address something else that he said. By the time that we are able to bust one, we know what's right and wrong. Mm-hmm. You know that you should not be having children out of wedlock. This is not something that we have to discover. At a very basic level, we know better. And that's why I can speak to men when I say the majority of men, especially black men, do not have children out of wedlock. That is a small minority of men that is populating the majority of these women. And we don't really want to hold them accountable because we know that women are the biggest consumers. And so again, I'm not here to make people feel good. I'm here to tell them the truth. No, I do not think that a man needs to practice becoming a father to a child that's not his and trying to figure it out to negotiate and work with another man that wants to probably at some point participate in this child's life, because it is a zero-sum game. And I know so many people that regret the day that they ever decided to get into a relationship with a woman that then ultimately should have went back to her child's father. Go back to your child's father and work it out. Because that's the person that you created the covenant with. That's the person that you married according to God's law. Go fix it. That's what you need to do.
Now, what if a woman is saying that this man is just absolutely egregious? That's just somebody I was. It's not even something that I can repair, go back to.
It's not about you.
How do you give that woman?
It's not about
advice?
her. It's about the child. Everything that you do at that point to bring somebody into this world that didn't ask to be here is what's best for the child. You remove yourself. You got to put down with self and up with God. What is in the best interest of that child? Is it in the best interest of that child for you to be raising that child in a 2-parent household with the father? And if so, why didn't you think about that before you opened up your legs to him? Because we got over 100 different forms of contraception.
And that right there was the biggest point that Anton has made so far in this particular section of the conversation. See, we want to talk about, we've gotten in our culture, we've gotten so comfortable, first of all, with premarital sex. We've gotten very comfortable with fornication. We're very comfortable to the point now that we make excuses for fornication. We trying to say that there's no such thing as fornication, and we can just sort of do it. We can have all this sex outside of wedlock. So we've become very comfortable with the concept of fornication. Like I said, to the point where we're making excuses about it. It's not bad. It's not that bad. Da 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 da. All of this other type of stuff. Okay, that's number one. And I'm going there because this conversation that they're having has spiritual and religious overtones. Okay. Spiritual and religious overtones. To the point where it's like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? We can't say that men shouldn't have slay a whole bunch of chicks because his nature is made such that he's meant to impregnate a bunch of women. Don't we think that Allah know what he made? Allah know how he made men. He know what male nature is. He created it. But he also created parameters to check the nature. The nature cannot be allowed to overtake. So he said, no fornication, no zina. You want to have more than one woman? Polygyny is okay. But there's a responsibility to be taken to these women. You want more than one woman? Fine. Because I know what nature I gave you. The woman's nature is checked also by the same God. He know what nature he gave us. Getting pregnant and having children is a biological imperative to women. So much so that we will get baby fever. We will worry about not having children. We try everything within our power to have children. It's a biological imperative. Yet the nature is checked. You can't have babies everywhere. You need to be married to your husband and then have a baby. So just because your nature is driven to that space, you still have parameters to check the nature. So Allah knows what he made. He knows how he made men, and he knows how he made women. This is why his law is what it is. To help the men and the women fulfill the biological imperatives, to satisfy their natures, but to do so in a responsible way that will cause the least amount of issues within the society and the community. So now with that understood, now we want to kind of make excuses about, oh, well, it's okay if she had a couple of babies. No, it's not okay if she had a couple of babies. No, it's not. You may want to point out each person's particular circumstance and this and that. But even in the climate that people have made, because this sexually liberated climate, this climate where the majority of society at large has done away with morality and spiritual guidance, and especially in terms of any sexual activity or connection, with a society that has done that with it, you might as well avail yourself of birth control. Because we've decided that God's law and the way that God governed everything, we decided that we do what we want to do. We don't have to wait to marriage. We don't have to take responsibility for the people that we sleep with. We don't have to take responsibility for children that we bring into the world and all of this other kind of stuff. We decided we don't have to take responsibility for none of that. So since we decided that God's law wasn't good enough, so now we got to make our own constructs to maintain us in our dysfunction. So now you got all kinds of birth control. This is to help control the outcomes of the dysfunction. Because all kinds of dysfunction comes from deciding to sleep with who you want to sleep with, when you want to sleep with them, how you want to sleep with them, with no responsibility and no regard. You want to do what you want to do. So now you got to try to mitigate all of the negative outcomes. Unwanted children, sexually transmitted diseases, and other forms of brokenness. Because we want to do what we want to do. Okay? All right. So since you want to do what you want to do, fine. So now you need to have some birth control. You need to go get a pill, a shot. They done made 50,000 versions of it. This is not the 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s. You do not have to be pregnant if you don't want to be pregnant. Now, none of these things are 100% effective in the prevention of it. But, you take your chances because you don't want to do what Allah said do, no way. Because if you was in a marital situation, you wouldn't have no such thing as a pregnancy scare. See the thing, we got to understand that we know it's wrong. Because there are such things as pregnancy scares for both the men and the women. He on pins and needles because he don't want her to come back and say she pregnant because he know he shot the club up. She on pins and needles because her period late. A pregnancy scare. Why is it scary? It's scary because there is no family structure set up. We did not bother to set up a family structure. We are not committed to one another in a marriage. I don't know what this man gonna do. I don't know what this woman is gonna do. We can now see there is no end to trouble if this woman is pregnant. How many times we done seen teen moms break down because she found out she pregnant? So it's a scare. When you in a marriage, it's not a scare. When you're married, and you get pregnant, you be like, ooh, we done got pregnant. We're pregnant. We're pregnant. A wife can't wait to tell her husband, we pregnant. We pregnant. And they may not have necessarily expected it at that particular time. But we married. You know you've been shooting the club, but relentlessly. So it's an accepted outcome. 1 minute. I'll be right back. Give me like 2 seconds for real. My apologies. And hey, Coffee Boy, it's been a minute since I seen you say listen and love your way. Thanks for the wisdom you give. Thank you, sweetheart. And thank you, Miss Mia, for your super stick. I appreciate you. All right. We're going to let him continue.
It's not about how you feel. It's about the child. I do the thing that's in the best interest of my child, not me. I put myself last. But I also understand that the things that I do in my greatness, she's the beneficiary of it. And I would never, ever, under any circumstance, let another man raise my child.
And that's beautiful. What he's saying is beautiful. And he's coming from a place of being raised by mother and father. But you have so many women that never seen their father. They've never known that a woman should get married before they have children. Hold on, bro. Let me speak. Because majority of young girls are they're starting to lose their virginities at very young ages as children, looking to replace that feeling of not having a father. They just want to feel some form of masculine love. So if this child made a mistake at 15 or made a mistake at 16 by sleeping with the wrong man that promised her the world, oh, baby, I love you. Oh, baby, I'm thankful for you. Oh, baby, I'll never leave you. And she got into this woman's head because, like you said, fathers should know and teach their daughters right for wrong. You do agree, correct? Mm-hmm. So if the father isn't there and she's running behind a masculine energy and this man is saying, I love you, I'll never leave you, I'll never cheat on you, and she falls in love with this man now saying, I want your body. If you love me, let me get your body. She doesn't know right for wrong because she didn't see no man growing up. Now she gives this man the body. Mm-hmm. Now a child is born. That means that this man right here that doesn't have any children should not get with her?
Absolutely not.
Come on, bro.
Okay. So here's what I want to say to that. I feel like Yada had to go to an extreme because he made the example that he gave basically about a child. If you have a 13, 14-year-old girl that got pregnant, I don't hold her to the same standard as I hold a 25-year-old woman. that gets pregnant. I don't hold those. Those two are not the same women. Though they're not the same. One is a girl. The other's a woman. One was failed by her family. If a girl is 13, 14 years old and she's out in these streets to get pregnant, that's a failure of her family. Her mother and father failed her. Her family unit failed her. They failed her because she should not be in a situation where she's somewhere able to get pregnant. Okay? So if a young girl like that is having sex and getting pregnant, then she was failed somehow, somewhere, because she shouldn't even been nowhere. She should have been too scared. If she was raised right, she too scared to do it, because now she got to face her family about it. And she know that they're not going to appreciate any of that. And if her parents are negligent towards her, or her household is very dysfunctional, she probably is chasing after a masculine energy of some sort without the ability to discern whether she should be doing this or not. So that girl is not the same as a 26-year-old woman who is running the streets outside, busting it open, and getting pregnant. That's not the same thing. So that was the first problem that I had with his analogy, was that he had to go to an extreme in order to make the case. Because once you get into adulthood, once you get into away from your family and stuff like that, you now have a responsibility to, if you have traumas and things of that nature, then you have a responsibility to see to that. And just because people don't see to it in a timely manner, that's still on you. It's still on you to do it. And I'm speaking from as a person who had to fight them demons at a very young age. And I realized that my youth was not an excuse to maintain the demons. My youth was not an excuse for that. And I'm not going to say that I was completely healed at 20-something, because I was very broken. I was very broken. But I had enough wherewithal to understand that I could not stay like that, that was not healthy. There was no way that I was going to be able to live the rest of my life and have a fruitful life and have a positive outcome with my life, maintaining them kind of demons and not seeing to them expeditiously with whatever tools was at my disposal at that moment. Now, it was not a perfect exorcism of all them demons, but I was trying. And so therefore, I know from experience that your youth, being in your 20s and stuff like that, that's not a green light to recklessly go through your life, because you don't live your 20s in a vacuum. If you make messed up decisions that negatively impact you, then you negatively impact it. And you're not going to be able to tell life, well, I'm 22. Why would it be? No, you are an adult. You are an adult. You are responsible for your physical, spiritual, mental self. You're responsible. I had a lot of trauma from my childhood. That was only so long that I could blame my mom and blame my dad and blame poverty and blame the situation I grew up in. It was only so much of that. Only so much of that. Because it become a fine line between these are the reasons that I feel like this, and now this is an excuse for the way I live. You gotta at some point, and I suggest you do it early, start figuring out how to fight them demons. Start figuring it out. Because you are not living in a vacuum. Other people are around you. Other people experience you and all of that. So that's the part that I thought was a little bit disingenuous on Yada's part, having to go to these extremes or having to go to the exception to try to discount the rule. Because for the majority in this day and age, in this climate, you have a lot of women who are making decisions, not little girls making mistakes due to their misguidance and their naivete and not knowing nothing about life. You have women, grown women, who at any other juncture will tell you her body, her choice. She's grown. She do what she want to do. Can't no man tell her nothing and all this type of stuff. That same group of women now must take the accountability for the decisions that they make. You being with this dude or you being with that dude, you know you're not married to him. Even if this isn't like a Pookie situation, you just know you're not married to this guy. You may call yourself in a quote unquote relationship. And this is why I talk the way that I talk, because you single until you're married. All the rest of that, you single. Living with him, single. Shacking with him, single. In a situationship, single. You single. You single until that man say before God and family that you are his wife. That's when you not single. So, like I said, even if this is not some chick going to the bottom of the barrel with a guy, let's just say, you know what I'm saying, they call themselves two regular people, two average people in a relationship. The main thing, whether he's a good guy, whether he's a no good guy, whether he's a POS, whether you think he might make a good father potentially, whether you think, whatever you think of this man, one thing you know for a fact is that you're not married to this man. So having a baby with him, that's doing too much. That's doing too much. You're doing too much. And I'm putting the honest majority on the women because it was the women that said that it's you asked for this sexual liberation and autonomy. You asked for this. You asked for the right to determine what you do with your sexual organs yourself, and no man can have no input. Not your father, not your husband, nobody. Okay. I keep telling y'all not in a relationship until this man marry you. That's when you marry. Y'all keep thinking babies is going to make him act right. This is the type of stuff that Yada's not talking about. When these women are making the decisions, well, I'm going to get a baby because I think that'll make him act right. No, beloved, that is a decision that you are making. Well, I'm going to get out here and just make a baby because I want a baby. I don't really even want the marriage. I'm going to find some guy that I think is cute enough to make a baby with. Because you can't tell me that Keke Palmer is not being a baby mama on purpose. You can't tell me she's not. What's old girl name? I done did several shows on her. The older chick that went to go. Why come I don't remember her name? I'm so bad with names. She just went out there and said, I'm going to have a baby by myself. These are decisions. These are not lost, broken women who just don't know no better. If you didn't grow up knowing, quote unquote, yeah, Ebony K, if you didn't grow up knowing right from wrong, when you going to learn it? When do it become your responsibility to learn it? Because let's not underplay it. We do have an innate sense of right and wrong. We do. Not all morals are taught. Human beings have an innate sense of, you know what, that's not. Because you don't need nobody to tell you not to unlawfully delete somebody. You don't need to tell nobody to tell you that. You don't need nobody to tell you not to grape nobody. You know that's wrong. You don't need it's some stuff we know. So what I'm gonna do right now is take this real quick commercial break, and then we're gonna come back and cook. So after these messages, we'll be right back. I need everybody to go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Once again, that link is ashkicking.com. If you want to get some of the best body care products on the market, especially this awesome body butter that I absolutely love, then you definitely want to hit the link. If this is going to be your first time, please take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson. Once again, the link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. Make sure to stop and get you your body butter, okay? I don't know how many likes I need, but I know I owe you guys a bam. We got to hit the like button. Bam. We got to Go ahead and hit that like button for me. Thank you, Sister Bashua said, I sensed immediately something about Yada wasn't right. You see him being gentle with his wife in the videos, but it's reported that he beats her. The hypocrisy is real. Thank you, Bernard said, for the cookout. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody. We're going to let them continue because there's certain things I want to comment on.
Brother.
Absolutely not.
Come on, brother.
100%.
Come on, brother.
Listen, at a very early age, I was never going to not have a child, or I was never going to have a child out of wedlock. It's just the facts. We was never going to co-parent. I was never going to have another man in my child's life.
That's beautiful.
And this is the sentiment of most men, especially black men. This is a norm within our culture. Go and look it up. It's data, it's statistics. This is not my opinion. This is a fact. And again, I'm going to go back to the core of what I said in the very first conversation. You can solve for 99% of all men that are doing the wrong thing, and 1% of men can populate the majority of the earth with women that choose to be with this one man. At some point, every single person, including women, have to be accountable for the thing that they did and open up their legs to. And we also know that women are the ones that initiate the majority of the divorces. So they're walking away from their households and becoming single parents by choice. This isn't something that they're being forced to. So when because he's a great salesman, I got to give you that.
Come on, brother.
No, you're phenomenal.
Come on, brother.
You do the whole crying thing.
Come on, brother.
God.
Come on, bro. You're showing sassiness right now. Come on, brother.
No. This is what you said.
Come on, we men now, brother.
No, listen.
Come on, we men now.
Oh my God.
Come on now, brother.
I didn't know a man, and so as a result, I was looking for love, and so I had this child. You know what I hear? Excuses. Let me add on something real quick, right? You're a great salesman. Man.
This man right here.
I see why you got a great product.
This man, thank you, brother. I appreciate you. This man right here. I don't want to attack Antoine. Let me say this. No, hold on.
My life is perfect.
I want to make sure my words is accurate. Let me not try to attack Antoine. Let me say it like that. It's toxic to teach a woman to stay in a home where there's no form of love or safety or security, because that teaches the woman, the young child, it teaches the young girl that she should grow up and stay in a relationship with a man that's abusive, that attacks her mentally and physically, emotionally. We have to understand the majority of women will not leave a place where she feels safe. She will not leave a place where she feels loved. Men keep screaming that women are leaving men or divorcing men in high numbers because these women are no longer happy. They no longer feel safe. They're not being financially provided for. They're taking care of grown men. And I know brothers, right, that are amazing fathers, amazing fathers, and raising their bonus children. These bonus children aren't curses. They're blessings. And any man that's able to lead another child that's not biologically his, I salute you. Because the average man will not understand that. Again, and
I want to pause that right here, because my issue with what he's saying is he's talking about, I don't even want to talk about the bonus children stuff. That's not even where I'm going with it. I understand why the men would focus in on that, but as a woman, I'm not focused in on the bonus children part. The part I'm focused in on is women won't leave a place where she feels loved or where she feels safe or where he's talking from a place as if women of today specifically, had the kind of proper moral compass that was necessary for that. He's speaking as if women of today do not willfully break their homes because they feel XYZ, and those feelings may or may not be valid in reality. See, I love having my show because I get to continue to expound on female nature. Female nature gets a bad rap. Female nature gets a bad rap. And I know why female nature gets a bad rap. Because our nature is made up of mostly all the things that we consider to be negative traits across the board with any person, with any human being. Do y'all understand what I was saying? Put a 1 in the chat if you understand what I just said. Female nature gets a bad rap, and I know why. Because our nature is made up of things that we consider to be negative human traits. We can't help it. We can't help that. What are you talking about, Crimson? Things like chaos. That get a bad rap. I've never heard nobody say, oh man, that thing is chaotic. That's awesome. I ain't never heard nobody say that. Selfishness. I ain't never heard nobody say, oh my God, you're the most selfish person I've ever known. That is so cool. Nobody says that. Because we cannot do things by brute force, we talk. We have to talk our way into things. We have to talk our way into stuff. That would be called manipulation. Nobody has any positive statements that they make about manipulation. Nobody has that. Nobody says that. Who likes a selfish, manipulative, chaotic person? No one. No one. Yet females are made up of that. That is the core of our nature. And our task is to take those qualities and make them good. Take those qualities that are universally understood to be negative and make those qualities positively beneficial to everybody. To us, to our children, to our husbands. That's the task. That's the task. One of the parts of chaos is that we are emotionally driven. That is a negative. Emotionally reactionary people. Nobody likes those people. Okay? Nobody likes those people. But that's women. That's females. That's every female. To us, emotion is real because we experience our whole life internally. Men experience their whole life externally. Why am I saying all of that? Because male order, this is why good leadership is so important. Good leadership is extremely important, and a woman's own spiritual compass, even above good male leadership, even before we get to male leadership, her spiritual compass is the thing that anchors her to reality so that her chaos and her feelings do not have her drifting off into space. We'll go to outer space real quick. The thing that anchors us into reality is Allah and God's order and the order that he gave our husbands to give to us and our fathers, the men who are in immediate authority to us. That helps us to anchor to reality and achieve the balance between how I experience the world internally versus what's actually happening externally that I don't experience. I have to be brought to that experience. Why are you saying all that, Crimson Cure? What does that have to do with anything? Because Yada is talking about a woman feeling something and that feeling being the be all end all. Women have to check our feelings and our internal experience up against the reality to check it, to verify it, to verify the truth of it. That is the purpose of obedience to God's order and obedience to, again, the men that are in authority over your fathers, your husbands, things of that nature. The point of that is to take my internal experience, which is 100% real to me. That is the reality. And bring it up against external reality to check it, to make sure that it is what I think it is, to make sure of whether or not my feelings are valid in the real external world. Because my internal world is one thing, external world is another thing. Those two things have to match. That is where truth is. For women, that's how we come to truth. Women have a different journey to truth and understanding than men do. But if a woman is maintaining her femininity, her female nature under God's order, she'll come to just as much truth as a man does with his analytical and reasoning thinking. Her feelings can bring her to a place where it's actual truth, just like a man's thoughts can bring him to a place of actual truth. We take two different roads. We should be ending up in the same space. So I'm saying that to say this. Her feelings alone, without the structure of God's order, is not reliable enough for her to make life-changing decisions on it. It's not reliable enough. She still has to check it against reality. She still has to do that. God's law is the reality. Full stop. This is why men have been appointed leadership position. That's a part of his leadership position. That's one of the parts of complementary energy. Chaos is in constant seeking of order, and order is in constant seeking of chaos. Chaos always needs order brought to it. Chaos always needs order to be brought to it. And order always needs chaos for something to do. Don't believe it? Let's go back to Adam. Adam was in the garden with everything he could possibly want, with everything seen to. Nothing was wrong with him. Wasn't nothing wrong with where he was at. He was in a place of no struggle, no toil, he was in a place where he didn't have to bring no order to it. Order was already there. Adam was walking around the garden with his mouth long enough to suck peas out of hot sauce bottle. To the point where Allah had to ask him, what's wrong with you? Because you've been running around here moping. You're moping. You got your head down. What's wrong with you? He, I don't know. Allah said, ain't I done provided you everything. You got everything you could possibly want. Every comfort you could possibly want. What do you want? You know what he said? He said, everything, I'm the only one of me. Everything got a pair. Everything got a pair. It's a 2 of them and 5, it's 10 of them. But when I walk around here, ain't nothing but me. So I mean, so everything is provided. So everything is provided for you, correct? Yeah. Nothing wrong with you. You ain't heard of nothing. Okay. I give you something. I'm gonna give you something to do. Because you want something to do. You bored. I done made it too simple. You bored. Oh, you bored. Okay. I got something for you to do. Because all of that chaos was inside of Adam. That selfishness, that all of that was him. All Allah did was take it and make it external, because men live their lives externally, not internally. Men cannot do the internal battle, the same kind of internal battle, to the level that women are tasked with. They wouldn't be able to get nothing done. If men had to do internally what women have to do internally, he wouldn't get nothing done. He would get nothing done. Because he would be in a constant fight all the time with himself. All of that emotionality would get in the way of his logical and analytical and reason thinking. All of that would muddle him. It would muddle him. He would have been muddled up. He wouldn't have been able to function for the function for which he was created. Because he wasn't even created to be in paradise and run paradise. That's Allah didn't need him up there. He set man to be the vicegerent and the caretaker of the earth. Not Jannah. He didn't need him in Jannah. He needed him in the earth. And in order to function in the earth, he wasn't going to be able to maintain all of that within his single being. So Allah separated it. And you want something to do anyway. So I'm going to give you something to do. She going to forever be something to do. And I tell you another thing. You'll have no end to complaining about her, but you ain't going to be able to get enough of her at the same time. I'm going to give you something to do. All of that was inside of you, I'm going to make it an external thing to complement your nature. You have to bring order to everything all the time. Man has to bring order to everything all the time. Such that if things are in order around him, he will think of a problem, make a problem, and then bring order to it. Tell me I'm lying. Men have no end to complaint about how difficult it is to build the world, maintain everything. We got to do everything. But man create things to do. He make up stuff to do. Men make up stuff to do. Tell me I'm lying about that. I want any man in here to tell me I'm lying about that. It's constant. It's a constant thing. It's a constant thing. Mankind, men specifically, make up problems to solve. They make up challenges to try to overcome. They make up stuff. Where do you think sports came from? Where do you think sports came from? He made up something to do. Something he got to be challenged about. Men won't stop complaining about that stuff, but they also don't stop doing it. Why not? Because that's his nature. That's his nature. That's his nature. If it ain't nothing to do, men get sad. If everything was around him all together in order, he'll do this for a minute. And then it's like, well, wait a minute. That's all they do. And I'm not saying that is a bad thing. I'm not hurling it as an insult. It's the way it is. It's just the way that it is. They're driven to bring order to everything all the time. Even if it's already in order, they'll bring it out of order to put it back in order. Men just want to do stuff. And it's wonderful. It's lovely. Like I said, I'm not hurling it as an insult. It just is what it is. And then he'll make the stuff to do, and then he'll complain that he got to do it. In his heart of heart, he love it. He wouldn't have it no other way. All them tasks. Man, I got to put this wall up. Man, I got to redo the basement. Man, all this stuff, man, all the time. Always something to do, man. It's always something to do. He loved doing that. Women are naturally chaotic. You don't like that? Talk to your creator about it. Because if he didn't make us us, he would have made us you. If he didn't make us us, he would have made us you. Do you want another man in your space in a certain way? No, you do not. My baby said, love the problem solve. My baby thinks of things to do so that he can do them. It don't be nothing wrong. And he'll be like, man, I got so much stuff to do. I got this to do, that to do. If he didn't have that stuff to do, he would be miserable. I could see it on him. The days where it don't be really nothing to do, he be like, for real? It give him something to do. they like doing. They like doing. Women are naturally chaotic. If Allah didn't make us, he would have made us you. But you don't want you. You want us. Because for all of that chaos and this and that, y'all wouldn't have it no other way. And I'm talking about with a good woman. I ain't talking about with no hyena. I'm talking about with a good woman. You wouldn't have it no other way. You want to have to come back and tell her, well, baby, did you do this? Baby, did you do that? Well, why you do it like that? Women, we're natural chaos. We're not meant to be y'all's problem. We're meant to give you a problem to solve. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? My baby just said it. Sometimes I don't do certain things right away so I can have something to do later. Yes. This is women. Our chaos is what it is. We can be his peace. See, chaos is not the opposite of peace. It's the opposite of order. We don't have to break his peace. That's not necessary. I'm getting off topic, but I'm going to get back on. Because I'm not really off. I'm just taking the long way around. Be his peace. We still naturally chaotic. He want a problem to solve. He just don't want us to be the problem. I can bring my husband a problem. Baby, this thing got me all messed up. You help me. I'm not his problem. Baby, my car making a funny sound. What is it? I don't know. It's just making a funny sound. And then the light came on. I don't know what it's about. It just started. I'm not the problem. But I definitely just brought him a problem. Why did you go all the way around the block, Crimson? First of all, because I'm naturally chaotic. I'm a woman. I'm going to go around the block. See how chaos works? But I'm also saying it because we can't just rely on my feelings as a woman and let that be the complete barometer for everything that's going on. We're going to go back.
Antoine was raised in a home with two parents, which is beautiful. Like I can't.
And he's saying that like that's a knock on me.
Hold on. No, I'm saying it's beautiful.
Hey, he
it's
keep
beautiful.
mentioning it like that's something that.
Hold on,
that's what you're supposed to do.
Brother. No, it's beautiful that he was raised in a home with two parents, but a lot of people didn't have the privilege of seeing that. So they're making mistakes, brother. They're making mistakes. She fell in love with the wrong. She fell in love with the wrong man. Whatever happened. But ladies, do not allow this man up here to make you feel like you're not deserving of a man. Or man, if you're in a relationship with a woman that has children, do your thing. I salute you. It takes a real man to be able to step up and be a father when no one else is.
No, it's not about do your thing. It's about going back to the thing that you committed to in the first place. And again, they always keep saying, do your thing, I'm surprised you ain't said queen at some point.
Queen,
do your thing, queen. Do your thing,
So,
queen.
let me ask you this question.
At some point, you need to hold your parents accountable, right? Because again, we keep hanging this on the hats of men instead of hanging it on the hats of the people that came before you and put you in this position in the first place. I agree. So let's remove this whole thing that is on men. It's not. It's not on all men. That's bullcrap.
What's not on all men?
It's not on this whole narrative of what we see in the culture. This is not a black man thing. The majority of men. So stop making up this narrative of an abusive household. Was he abusive? Wait. No.
That's what I'm saying.
No, let me finish. This is my question to you. Was he abusive before you opened up your legs to him?
Now can I speak? That's cool with you.
I asked you a question.
Good. Brother, we have men that are some pro finessers. They will give a woman a representation of themselves. And when they've got their hooks into the woman, they turn into something different. No.
And I'm going to tell you where the problem is for that. Is there some truth to what Yada just said? Yeah. There's some truth to it. This is what I meant in the beginning, where he's not wrong, but he's not right. He's not wrong, but he's also not right. This is where he's not right. Is there some truth to the finesse? Sure. However, the whole problem goes back to the brokenness of the community and the bad values that the community have. Because your father vetting for you for your husband was the vetting tool to get around a dude like that. Because your father is not going to be taken by some slick words and he, hey man, I'm just coming through. Man, hey, your daddy gonna be like, hey, talk to me straight, because you ain't talking straight right now. Because you ain't trying to get under my skirt. I ain't got no skirt. So you gonna talk to me like you got some sense. And he gonna come back to his daughter, say, hey, this one is up to something. No. That was the purpose of it. All you chicks that don't want can't nobody tell me it's because you no longer have these safety nets, these parameters to guide you. This is the parameter that I'm talking about, with your feelings going up against reality to be verified as the truth. Because a man can say anything to a woman. And if he say it good enough and he package it right, she'll go for it. This is true. But in order to mitigate that and to reduce the probability and the possibility of her getting caught up with such a man, is to bring him around other men. Your brothers, your uncles, your dad. Men that have your best interests in mind. Men that can see through the foolishness of other men. I told y'all, when my father was alive, the first time I was trying to get married, It was a couple of men that I brought to his attention, suitors that wanted to marry me. And when my daddy said thumbs down, baby, it was a thumbs down. It's a wrap for you. Because my daddy was a real one. And if he said you wasn't nothing, you ain't nothing. I did not buck my daddy. I did not buck against my daddy. And he said, no, I don't like him. No, it's something about him. There is something about you then, Negro. You gonna do that just because your daddy, y'all, just because my daddy, y'all, don't call me no more. I don't want to talk to you no more. Just because your daddy, yes, your daddy run you, yeah, kinda. I'm not gonna let you slip past his necks. I trust him before I trust you. I don't even know you. And my daddy always took care of me. I don't even know you. So you out of there. My husband wasn't alive to meet my current husband. My daddy wasn't alive to meet my current husband. But had he met him, he would have said, yeah, because they pretty much the same person any dang on way. I can hear my daddy now smacking his knee and laughing. And him and my husband somewhere laughing it up about something. I don't even want to know what they laughing about. But because women don't have that, they wouldn't honor it if they did, because there are women who do have their father. See, we get going with this narrative that all these chicks ain't never got their daddy. Yes, they do. They just don't be listening to their daddy. They don't be listening to their daddies. That be the problem. Daddy tell them, I don't like him. You deal with him anyway. Then you get yourself into a world of trouble, all because you ain't even listened to your daddy when your daddy had your best interest in mind. You knew your daddy before you knew this Negro. You even know this Negro. And your daddy tell you, hey, I don't even know why you talking to him. Why you talking to him? What you talking? Why you talking to him? What is he saying to you? Because when I got around him, I spotted like 10 red flags right off rip. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of foolishness is he feeding into your head, because you show like him, but I don't see what you like. I don't see what it is that you like. Because listen, he don't do this, he don't do that. I asked him such and such question, and he had no answer for that, you know? And then, what you like about this boy? What you like about the little naughty-headed boy? Because I don't even know if I even like him. Matter of fact, I don't like him. I don't like because he don't stand for nothing. He's standing there, you know. You don't even stand up straight. You know, my daddy would have had some smart talking stuff to say. Smart talking observations. So some of these chicks do be having their daddy, and they don't be paying attention to their daddy. Daddy tell them no, they buck against what they daddy say, because they know better and all this kind of stuff. It ain't really like that. Yes, it is like that. It's exactly how your daddy said it was. I don't care nothing about that foolishness that dude talking to you. He pillow talking you. Don't nobody care about that. He talking up your skirt. That don't count. So everybody ain't not got their daddy. And then he going back to the whole abuse thing. I know I'm going way over time, but it's all right. I knew this was going to be long. Let me take a moment to look at these super chats. Thank you for becoming a new member, Neo Panther. I appreciate you so very much.
But now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
Thank you, Miss Tashina. So the truth is that single moms, we can't victim ourselves, for our children suffer the most. I found Kendra. Now I've met a Muslim man, inshallah. Thank you, HVAC. Said dudes like y'all better not ever come around me, bonus children. What? It's on site. Thank you, Bernard. Says since black women outnumber black men, y'all wins the popular vote with women as it allows for no accountability for past decisions. Anton represents the dissenting opinion of the minority, the 50% of childless black men. Thank you, Juan, for gifting 5 memberships. For all of those who got your membership from him, thank him, please, in the chat, and please maintain your membership.
Now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
Thank you so much, Lydell. Says Spit It Crimson. I appreciate you. Thank you so much again. HVAC says it's light side, dark side. Without the light to contain, it is chaos. The light is there to maintain balance, order. Nothing more, nothing less. Exactly. Thank you, Guy in the black suit. Says today's message is simply profound. Much respect, Crimson. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gregory. Said men have to be constantly thinking. For example, we as men will think about how to solve our financial situations and look for new ones to approach. Thank you. We'll be back. Said Yada hangs his hat on those tired Derek Jackson narratives a little too much to be taken seriously. Thank you once again, Coffee Boy. So I'm at work, so I'm always a silent viewer, but always enjoying the cookout. I appreciate you. Thank you again, Bernard. So Yada strategically talks and asks questions in a manner that makes Anton appear like he's mansplaining to the audience. A female's tactic. Smart. We're going to go back to it. Thank you for that, Miss Nicole. I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and take care of that real quick. Because I see what you did. You helped me out. Big. No.
Woman in her right mind is going to be in a relationship with a man that's negative, Nancy, breaking her down mentally, physically, and spiritually, not providing for her financially. No, they get the hooks in her. And then when he feels like he's got her in love and all she knows is him, he turns into something different. All I'm saying to you, brother, this is what I want. No, I need you to hear this. Every woman that has had a child and is not with the man aren't bad people. And every man that had a child and not with the woman is not bad people. We keep saying a man shouldn't be with a woman that has children. Why? Because she have her children, but this man has children and children aren't with them. We have to make sense of this. Why do we keep saying, man, don't be with a woman with children, but we're not saying nothing by the man that's not taking care of his children or there for his children?
I want to actually ask that question right.
That's like a Little Mermaid movie that he just made right there.
Let me ask.
The problem with the situation, and the reason why I titled this, No Dating Single Mothers, is this situation here. What Yada is ignoring, and this is what a lot of these hyena sympathizers ignore. What he is ignoring is all of the things that come along with this woman being a single mother, many times over in lots of cases. See, it's not just, we're not talking about women who were widowed and she got kids, or it's just a few women that who relationship didn't work. It's not even a lot of women. We are talking about women who consistently make the decisions to bring forth children in situations that are unstable, relationships that are unstable, all of these sorts of things. She'll go from man to man. She will have babies by these men. All of that, all of the bad decisions that come along, it's all of the undergirding of bad judgment, bad value system. All of that stuff is there. Not to mention the way that she weaponized the children, not only against their biological father in many cases, but sometimes against the man that stepped in. Now he don't really have authority and over the kids, because now these her kids and these not his kids. And now, so these women are still very much so rebellious women. They're very much so disobedient women. They're very much so women that rebel against any order. So the problem is that Yada is coming from a place that imagines that these women have a solid spiritual base and a solid mental base, and they're coming from an altruistic place, or they're coming from a place of love, or a place of healing, or a place of godliness, when they are not. And because they are not coming from a place of righteousness, they're still existing in this toxicity that they have. They're making all of these wild decisions, and then they want other people to come into the toxicity, not to change it, but to simply become part of the toxic cycle. This is the problem. Because these women are not trying to change for the better. That's the problem. They're not trying to change for the better. They are not figuring it out. These women are not the 13, 14, 15-year-old whose life was all messed up. She had one kid. She said, you know what? I'm not doing that no more. I'm going to fix myself. I'm going to get closer to God. I'm going to figure it out. Yeah, I have my child, but you know what I'm saying? I was in a wrecked state of mind. I'm going to get my mind right. And hopefully the Most High sent me a husband. We're not talking about her. We're not talking about that woman. And that is not the majority example of the so-called single baby mama in Black culture. That's not even her mindset. We're talking about chicks that use baby deletions as retroactive birth control. We're talking about chicks that's outside. We're talking about chicks that's being reckless with her womb. Now all of a sudden she's supposed to be an orderly woman when she been operating out of order on purpose. She been out of order. Every time order come to her, she specifically leave the order or try to dismantle or undermine the order. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it, Yada.
Ask this real quick because I want to know if you also feel that
deserve to necessarily be in your life, because your journey is different. And so I never said anybody was a bad person and responsibility for it. I don't believe that people are getting finessed like you painted the picture. I believe, because that's to say that women aren't smart. Because how did you get so smart afterwards, but you wasn't smart enough to be able to identify that he was a POS when you got with him? That's literally telling y'all that y'all idiots. You're not an idiot. You're not dumb. Most women know who the dude is that they got with and who they chased before they got with him and opened up their legs to him. You know that. That's why they say get married. Marry before you carry. That's why they say that.
So let's, because I get you pretty much talking prevention.
Correct.
Not necessarily in the situation, but I actually want to go to the situation because right now our culture is facing this situation. Right. A woman who got pregnated by a man. They're not married.
That's your husband.
Mm.
That's your husband. What are we talking about? You can't take it back. Ain't no take back.
This man, and this man is not being a man in your life. If you're in a relationship with a man, you're pregnant, or if you have children by this man, and this man is not being a man in your life, leave him. If this man is breaking you down mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, leave him and make sure he gets himself together. And if he can't get himself together to keep you in his life, that's not the man for you. Leave. I don't care what this brother talking.
And we're going to take over the world. It's some things that we're going to have to figure out together. But you just can't leave after you got somebody pregnant. You can't leave after you get pregnant. What you talking about? That's your husband.
Man, listen, hold on.
That's your husband.
Listen to me. Listen to me, ladies. If you're in a relationship with a man, you're pregnant, or if you have children by this man, and this man is not being a man in your life, leave him. If this man is breaking you down mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, leave him and make sure he gets himself together. And if he can't get himself together to keep you in his life, that's not the man for you. Leave. I don't care what this brother talking about. That makes no sense, and it's devilish. It's too many women being killed by toxic men because they want to stay for emotional reasons of the children. Think about yourself, because you can't properly protect your child if you're being abused on any type of level, if you're not being provided for on any type of level. Love yourself enough to know when to leave. If not, you will pour this childhood trauma onto your child.
And that right there was the crux of what I wanted to get to. See, I didn't want to just jump to that part. You needed the build up almost. What Yada just said was Tia-ing. That's Tia-ing. Now you can understand why I was talking the way that I was talking about women's feelings and emotions. If this man is not taking care of you, if this man is not leading, without defining what is leading, what is taken care of, because these hyenas today are talking about they don't like it. You know, anything now is defined as not being taken care of. Anything now is defined as he's not having good leadership. Anything now is defined as he's not leading me to the best possible. See, now that's what they're doing. The problem that Yada is having, the problem that I'm having with Yada's message, the reason why I say it ain't wrong, but it's not right, is because that level of leniency that he called himself giving to women is just the right amount of accountability dodging that they rely upon in order to make foolish decisions and then not have to give an account for those decisions, and then be able to make excuses about why they did what they did. It's Tia-ing. What is Tia going through? Left that man for no real reason. She left that man for no real reason. And now she broke her family. Now she feel a way about it. Nobody told you to do that. But all because she felt a certain way. All because she did exactly what he just said. She loved herself enough not to put this on her children. These females do not have accountability. These females do not have a spiritual anchor that tells them that just because I feel a way today, that ain't the be all end all. It's not the be all end all. This is why the divorce tie and stuff like that is not in the woman's hands. And when you put it in her hands, this is why you get such high divorce rates, because she'll just take off because of her emotions and because she felt a certain way without thinking it through, without checking against the order of the Most High to see if she's righteous in these feelings and in these actions that she's trying to take. That's why it's parameters to why you get divorced. What can you get divorced for? And women took that as some type of punishment. Oh, they're trying to make us stay in these marriages. Some of you need to stay in your marriages. A lot of you need to stay in your marriages. Because a lot of you is walking away from marriages and you don't have to. Things could have been fixed. Things could have been different. But when you give this large leeway, this is why I don't give wiggle room. This is why I don't give wiggle room. I don't let hyenas have wiggle room. Because if you give them wiggle room, they'll wiggle. The women that this hyenaism does not apply to, it don't apply to them. I'm not talking to them. But this is why I don't constantly be like, oh, not all, no, I'm not doing all of that. Because those women who know better, who do better, who operate better, not offended. Because it don't apply. That's what I don't like. Maybe he understand, maybe he don't. Maybe he don't care, maybe he do care. I don't know him. But the way that he speaks give way too much leeway for women to make bad decisions and then blame it on men's lack of leadership. He's using the same argument that women use. I can't do what I'm supposed to do because I'm with a man that's a bad leader. Why are you with a man that's a bad leader? See, your discernment is off anyway because you allowed yourself to be underneath the leadership of a man that don't lead well. You allowed that. So your discernment is off. You're off. You're off. You should have known that you wasn't going to be able to abide underneath this man. I have met men that I could not abide under. I don't even like what's going on. The conversation that we have is throwing me off. You just threw me off. Maybe you will be okay for somebody else, but not me. Now you're gonna have a problem out of me. With that, that's your mindset. Not gonna work. As a woman, you have to know. You have to know what you're capable of following and what you are not. Your discernment has to be on point to understand this is a good leader, good problem solver, or I don't want to get caught up with that. I don't want to get caught up with that. That's not good. He doesn't have direction. And it don't even seem like he got the tools to get direction. This is going to be a problem. So if you are a female and you constantly find yourself in the presence of, in relationship with, all of these men, and these men ain't leaders, and they not this and they not that, you got to start checking you. Because even if it's true that these men are lacking in leadership and lacking in this and lacking in that, even if that's real, you're attracting them. And you're attracted to them. So now that's your thing. Now you got to figure it out. Because anytime I got stepped to from a man that I thought should never want to step to me, I checked me. Because I'm trying to figure out what energy did I just give off that you thought you could come over here. Why are you here? Especially talking to me like this. What I do? Now I got to figure out what I did. Because there was a reason why you came over here. Thank you, PDGAF said 21% of women are single mothers, while 47% are single and childless. Thus, single childless men should get with the big pop of childless women. Agreed. All right, before we get out of here,
friends and family, I would like you to check out blackcommunityspeak.com. Now, blackcommunityspeak.com is a forum-based website. So something that's very simple where you can get on, you can get off, get involved with a lot of topics. Now, Black Community Speaks is a place that's for Black men and women to talk about issues that's affecting the entire community. So on blackcommunityspeak.com, they talk about topics in the range of news, what's going on in society, relationships, technology, business, food and recipes, gaming, health and fitness, music, and many, many more. On Black Community Speak, it's a place where you can be safe to say what you want to say without the fear of big tech censorship. So make sure you head on over to blackcommunityspeak.com and sign up today.
So definitely go click the link at the top of the chat. The brother only needs a few more to reach his goal. I think maybe 5 or less signups to reach his goal. So let's help him reach the goal. Click the link at the top of the chat, Black Community Speaks. Go and support the brother's forum. It's a really nice, well put together, well organized forum where you can join a conversation or start one of your own. Thank you so much. True Black said, you have sex, you're married, paraphrasing Islamic law. But since the blind accepted the laws as a definition of marriage, all is lost. Keep cooking. Just to clarify, the nikah is necessary in deen to be married. Otherwise, it's fornication. A nikah is necessary. That means 2 witnesses, the imam, the woman, the man, in agreement that they are going to be married before the community and their families. That they have to be known as a married couple. Sex is obviously on the table because sex consummates the marriage. The marriage is not consummated without sex. So the sex consummates, it completes the bond, but the nikah has to be done. It must be done. That is a necessary component. A man and a woman cannot just come together without no witnesses or nothing and say, well, we married. That don't fly in deen. It don't fly. Gotta have nikah and then consummate the marriage. That completes the nikah. The sex completes the nikah, but the sex is not the nikah, if that makes sense. All right, I'm on. We spent almost 2 hours. I want to thank everybody for coming through. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, is the Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye bye, Crimsonites.